Okay, so in this lesson I want to go on to the advanced modify tools. Again, if you've done the basic course, we went through move, rotate, mirror, copy. I'll just do a brief catch up on those again. I'll draw a basic rectangle. And as I spoke about in the basic course, you'll hear me clicking away on the mouse. I have my mouse set up so that right click is return, and you can do that under your user properties, which we went over in the previous course. So when you hear my mouse clicking away, all I'm doing is I'm left clicking to select a tool, left clicking to select an item, right click is my return to say I've finished selecting items, left click, and then if I need to exit a command, right click. And right click is just my return button, it's exactly the same as my return button. Okay, so move, as it says, you select an object, return, and you move it. Simple. Copy, use it exactly the same way, but it's a copy command, so it will leave the original where it is. Okay, I'll delete those. And rotate. Okay, rotate, select the base point. I have ortho on, I have my O snaps on. There we go. Okay, and I'll go through these. I'm not sure if we went through these in the first course, but it's always good to show you again. So this is extend and trim. Okay, so imagine, let's draw a polyline there. So this box, we only want it to extend as far as that line. We don't want it to cross over that line like we show. Okay, so trim. So first thing, we select our line. We want to use that as our trimming line. Okay, we right click to return, or you can press return, right click is up to you. And then which side do we want to trim? So you click on the side you want to take out, and there you go, right click again. And if we just move that out, I can show you extend. Works a similar way. We want to extend up to that line, select everything. We'll use a window at this point, a crossing window. Okay, and there you go, and it extends it automatically to that line. So that's trim and extend. Copy we've seen. And mirror, again, mirror, select the objects. There we go, right click, mirror line. It's asking us about our line. Our line is this line here, and we've mirrored it. You can see that's mirrored. Okay, let's use these fillet, chamfer and blend curves. So we have two lines like that, and you do see this a lot when you find a drawing someone else has done who doesn't really know what they're doing. They may turn off that. When you zoom out, you may see a corner like that, maybe a wall, something. It's drawn that way, but because it hasn't been drawn with any kind of O snaps or anything, when you zoom in, the ends don't actually meet. You would do see this a lot, and if you try to hatch it or something, the hatch will bleed out through there, nothing will work. It can be a nightmare. If you do see this, use the fillet command, and the fillet command will make them into a nice neat corner with the ends touching. It may be you want a radius on there rather than an actual right angle like that. And I'm just going to find out what kind of units, because this was drawn very random. Okay, so for radius, when you select your fillet command, down here it's saying R for radius. So you type R, return, and let's go with a 250, and this means a 250 radius curve. Okay, so return that, and now when you select them, you get a 250 radius curve. And if they're polylines, it will actually join them as well, which is quite handy. Okay, let me just undo that again. Okay, so we'll go back to these two lines. Now suppose we didn't want a curve, we wanted this kind of chamfer here. Again, you select your command and you have some options. You can use the angle, you may want it at a certain angle. Usually it's a distance that's used, so type in D for distance and we'll go with 250 again. And it will ask you twice because you can have different lengths on each side. So we want 250 and 250. Return. Now when we select the lines, it was quite big, that's what we get, and that 250 is this dimension from where the corner would have been. It's 250 there and 250 there, and like I say, you could have had 250 there and a metre there and it would have been a longer line. But that's the chamfer command. Blend curves, this is used for things like, let's draw a polyline arc. So we click on polyline, polylines come in straight like that, but if you look down here, so you can have an arc, press A, and now we've got circles. Okay, so you can have a smooth circle like that, and maybe we have one up here too. There. And we want to join them together, but we want that join to be curved. Maybe it's something like a piece of rope or a chain. You wouldn't actually get, you don't want something like that, it just looks odd. So we can use this blend curves command and that will create a sweeping curve like that. Okay. Stretch will let you, if I, let's draw a rectangle. So by using stretch, I tend to use a crossing window with stretch. Select the part of the object you want to stretch, and when you grab it, you don't have to grab a grip, you can pick anywhere. I tend to use a grip. You grab it and you can stretch it. Usually you'd use it to stretch a length of something like this, and you could type in, so you could type in I want to stretch it by 500 and it would, or you may want to stretch it to that line there. Okay. Extend tends to extend a single point like a line. If you want to extend an object, the stretch command can be good for doing that. See there. Personally, I don't use stretch much. I prefer to use grips. If you select an object by shift clicking these blue boxes, think of these as grab points, then you can move it that way. I just find you have more control by using grips of what you actually move and what you don't. But some people do use stretch commands, so there you go, it's up to you. A lot of these things are personal preferences. For me, I like to use the grips and manipulate objects that way. Okay. Scale, I think we went through, but click an object. The base point is where you want to scale it around, so let's use this and reference. So this, and you can scale it up. See how it's gone bigger? I tend to use scale. Select the object, click the base point, apply a scale factor. So we want, let's times it by 100, for instance. There, and now it's huge. And you scale it up by 100. Let's scale it. If we go 0.001, we scale it back down again. And there you go. So that's scale. We can, with the scale command, if we draw a rectangle of a known size, so remember to draw, you do the @ sign and then it's 500, 500. We'll do a 500 by 500 square. If someone then came along and said, actually I don't want it to be 500 by 500, I want it to be 2 meters by 2 meters, 2000 by 2000, then you can use scale, select your base point there, and down here, reference, so you press R, that's my phone going, sorry. So reference length, you can click our original length, specify new length, well I want it to be 2000. So you would scale that up from 500 to 2000. And all you've done there is say scale, use our original length of 500 and now make that 2000, and it will scale everything, but it scales everything uniformly, the whole shape. Let's scale. Array. Okay.